The internet just exploded, and no, it's not because of another influencer scandal or Nicki Minaj dropping a subliminal diss. This time, it's because two of hip-hop's biggest titans, Eminem and 50 Cent, just did the unthinkable. They dropped a nuclear-level mixtape that's got the entire industry sweating bullets. Do or Die isn't just music, it's a warning shot, a legacy statement, and a straight-up reminder that the old guard still runs the streets. Picture this: Eminem spitting like he's time-traveled from the 8 Mile era. 50 Cent bringing that bulletproof swagger straight out of Queens. Snoop Dogg gliding it up with that West Coast smoke. DrDre making the beats quake like an earthquake. And Nicki Minaj, oh, she came for next. This isn't a collaboration, it's a musical ambush. Fans are calling it DDox meets Get Rich or Die Tryin' with a Barbie twist. Critics are losing their minds. And Twitter? It's basically a war zone of nostalgia, bars, and memes. Because when Em and 50 say do or die, they don't mean metaphorically, they mean hip-hop is about to get body bagged. Buckle up. Because what you're about to hear is pure lyrical carnage. Let's rewind. Because this didn't just drop out of nowhere, this was a full-blown hip-hop earthquake, months in the making. Rumors started swirling when a mysterious snippet began circulating on Reddit late one night. It was 37 seconds of pure fire, an unreleased Eminem verse laced with Dre-style production, layered with 50's iconic ad-libs. Fans went feral. People were dissecting frequencies, analyzing every vocal pitch, arguing whether it was AI or real. But one thing was clear: whatever it was, it hit different. Then, the breadcrumbs started dropping. Snoop Dogg posted a cryptic Instagram story. A photo of a vintage cassette tape labeled Do or Die the Family. The caption, just one word: soon. That was all it took to send the internet into meltdown mode. Within an hour, hashtags like hashtag Do or Die mixtape, hashtag Shady Aftermath return, and hashtag G-Unit back were trending in over 10 countries. Hip-hop hadn't seen this level of unity or chaos in years. The wildest part, nobody believed it was real. For a decade, fans had begged for an Eminem 50 Dre reunion. We got teases, verses, and interviews, but never a full-scale project. It was like waiting for Detox, but with actual hope. So when Snoop dropped that post, the theories went ballistic. Was this a leak? A secret drop? A Dre marketing stunt? Nobody knew, but everyone had one mission: find the truth. Then came Nicki Minaj, the queen of cryptic clues. She tweeted 3 knife emojis, a CD emoji, and the phrase "they ain't ready for this." The barbs went into detective mode faster than the FBI on caffeine. They decoded everything from the emoji's arrangement to the timestamp. Some claimed it spelled do or die, others said it referenced 50's birthday. A few even speculated that Nicki had ghostwritten a verse for Eminem, which made absolutely no sense but sounded scandalous enough for Twitter to run with. By this point, the suspense was unbearable. Hip-hop fans were refreshing Spotify like gamblers at a slot machine. Forums went into meltdown. YouTubers were live streaming their theories, and one fan even tattooed Do or Die on his arm before confirmation. The energy was insane. Then at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, without promo, without warning, without a single press release, it dropped. Do or Die the mixtape, no label tag, no rollout, just chaos. The cover art was pure grit, a black and white photo of Eminem and 50 Cent standing back to back, drenched in shadow, with Do or Die scribbled like graffiti across the bottom. The message was simple: they weren't back for nostalgia. They were back for revenge. The first track, No Mercy, hit like a gunshot. Eminem came in spitting triple time, dissecting the rap industry like it owed him royalties. "Y'all chasing clicks while I'm chasing ghosts," he snarled, firing shots that had fans trying to figure out who he meant: MGK, Mel, or everyone with a SoundCloud link. Then 50 slid in with that old-school menace, dropping lines about loyalty, betrayal, and how real rappers don't do TikTok dances. The internet collectively screamed. By the second track, West Coast Warning, Snoop took over. And it was vintage Snoop. Smooth flow, slick delivery, a subtle reminder that no one does cool like the Dog Father. And right when people thought it couldn't get crazier, Nicki Minaj appeared, and let's be real, she didn't just feature, she dominated. Her verse was ruthless, sharp, and dripping with shade. She called herself the only Barbie that's built for the battlefield, and fans lost their minds. The Barbs declared it a cultural reset. Meanwhile, Dre's fingerprints were all over the production. Heavy bass, cinematic strings, and that classic aftermath polish. Every beat sounded like a punchline, every drop like a statement. You could feel the chemistry. It wasn't nostalgia, it was evolution. The next morning, the entire internet was on fire. Spotify crashed. Twitter threads stretched longer than Drake's discography. Reaction videos poured in by the thousands. Fans were crying, screaming, analyzing, theorizing. One YouTuber literally said, "This feels like 2003 in 2025 had a baby." Another said, "This makes every other release this year sound like elevator music." But not everyone was celebrating. Oh no, the industry elite started sweating. Several rappers began posting passive-aggressive tweets. One said, "Funny how legends drop when they need attention." Another wrote, "If you gotta call Dre to sound relevant again, maybe it's time to retire." Of course, they didn't name names. But come on, we all knew who they were talking about. Then came the leak conspiracy. Some claimed Do or Die wasn't meant to release yet, that someone inside Aftermath dropped it early after a dispute. Others said 50 leaked it himself to test the streets. Dre's team denied it all, but that only fueled the fire. A leaked DM screenshot allegedly showed Eminem texting 50, saying, "They weren't ready, but we are." Whether it was real or fake didn't matter, it felt real. And in the internet age, that's all you need. As the dust settled, hip-hop fans realized something. This wasn't just a mixtape, it was a resurrection. It was the old guard kicking down the door and reminding everyone who built the genre. The lyrics were loaded with inside references, subtle jabs at new age rappers, nods to past feuds, and bars so dense they required YouTube explainers. Eminem, for example, dropped a line that made fans' jaws drop. "Your algorithm loves fakes. Mine built the culture." That one line alone sparked think pieces, podcast debates, and 3-hour reaction breakdowns. Meanwhile, 50's verse on "Legacy Ain't Free" reignited discussions about loyalty in the industry. He rapped, "Some friends became trends. I stayed timeless." That's violence. It hit hard. Not just lyrically, but emotionally. Because for once, this wasn't just flexing, it was reflection. You could hear years of history, scars, and success woven into every bar. By the time the mixtape's final track, Do or Die, rolled in, fans knew they were witnessing something special. The song featured all 5 Eminem, 50, Snoop, Nicki, and Dre trading verses like they were passing torches across eras. It was unity, power, and pure fire in one track. And just when you thought it was over, Dre dropped the last line of the project, one that froze the internet solid. "This ain't a comeback, it's a takeover." Mic drop. Internet collapse. Hip-hop history rewritten. The impact was instant. Within 24 hours, the mixtape hit 50 million streams. News outlets scrambled to cover it. Magazines called it a masterclass in relevance. Even Gen Z rappers started giving backhanded compliments like, "Not gonna lie." The old heads snapped. The memes were endless edits of Eminem holding a Wi-Fi password sign that said "Real Rap Only," gifs of 50 laughing with stacks of cash, and Nicki standing in front of flames with the caption, "Queen Energy Activated." But this was just the beginning. Because what came after the mixtape, the fallout, the drama, and the reactions would prove that Do or Die wasn't just a title. It was a statement that shook the entire hip-hop food chain. By sunrise, hip-hop wasn't just awake, it was wide-eyed, jittery, and on fire. The Do or Die mixtape didn't just drop, it detonated. And the fallout spread faster than a Drake diss track at a house party. Every social platform, every radio station, every group chat was dissecting it like a government document leak. People were arguing about who had the best verse, who got subliminally roasted, and which rapper just lost their job. Twitter turned into a lyrical war zone. Hashtags like #MKillEdit, #Nicki8, and #50bag battled for dominance. Fans were breaking down lyrics like English professors with attitude. One viral tweet said, Eminem just dropped 97 syllables in one breath. Somebody check on oxygen, another fan wrote. Nicki just baptized half the rap game and made it look glamorous. Even verified artists were jumping into the chaos. Post Malone tweeted, I ain't gonna lie. This makes me want to delete my next single. But the loudest noise came from the industry veterans. Suddenly, everyone who'd stayed quiet for years crawled out of their studio caves to comment. Ice Cube called it a masterclass. LL Cool J tweeted, this is what happens when real ones link back up. And even Jay-Z, yes, Jay-Z liked a tweet praising 50's verse. You know it's serious when Hop starts clicking like buttons. But beneath the humor, a darker tension was brewing. The mixtape didn't just entertain, it exposed. Eminem's bars had names without names, and everyone wanted to know who he was talking about. Lines like your TikToks flop harder than your morals and you call it viral. I call it desperate sent chills through the new gen rappers community. Some took it as a challenge. Others took it personally. One trap artist, who shall remain nameless but rhymes with Blueface, went on Instagram Live ranting, man, I don't care if it's M or 50, this old head energy gotta go. It's a new era. The internet dragged him instantly. Comments like, bro, you couldn't survive one bar from Nicki and you're not the era. You're the error flooded in. It was glorious. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was in full savage mode. He reposted fan reactions, laughed at critics, and tweeted, told y'all we never left. Just been counting money. Classic 50 energy. The man doesn't age. He just gets more dangerous. And when someone accused him of chasing nostalgia, he clapped back with, nostalgia? Nah, this is domination. Then came the next twist, the numbers. Within 24 hours, Do or Die had broken Spotify's single-day mixtape stream record. Apple Music's servers reportedly glitched for 3 hours because of the traffic surge. YouTube's trending tab looked like an Aftermath reunion. Every song, every lyric breakdown, every reaction video was topping charts. Even Dre's intro monologue got 5 million views by itself. But the real mic drop moment came when Billboard confirmed the impossible and independent mixtape, released with no label, had outstreamed half the year's mainstream albums. No promo, no campaign, no rollout, just pure fan power. Eminem's fanbase mobilized like an army. Nicki's barbs flooded every corner of the internet. And 50's followers turned every tweet into an advertisement. The trifecta was unstoppable, of course. The media couldn't resist stirring the pot. Talk shows and blogs started asking, did Eminem and 50 just save real hip-hop? Others called it a middle finger to mumble rap. A few outlets even speculated that Do or Die was a veiled diss to the Grammys, a statement that the culture doesn't need validation from institutions. Meanwhile, DrDre, the silent assassin, broke his silence in the most Dre way possible. A single post, a black screen with the words, still DrDre, always will be. That alone got 1 million likes. And for the record, that man could drop a grocery list and it'd chart, but not everyone was celebrating. Behind closed doors, some major label execs were panicking. The mixtape's success shattered the myth that only structured releases could dominate. This was raw, unfiltered rebellion. Artists started questioning their contracts. Fans started demanding authenticity again. One insider leaked a message allegedly from a top exec that read, "We just got outplayed by nostalgia and honesty." And right on cue, the interviews began. 50 did one with The Breakfast Club, and when asked how the project came together, he smirked and said, "We got tired of waiting for the game to get real again, so we made it real." Eminem, on the other hand, went full philosopher. In a rare appearance, he said, "This wasn't about proving we still got it. It was about proving we never lost it." Boom. Mic dropped again. NickiMinaj response? Iconic. During an Instagram live, she said, "They said I couldn't hang with the boys. Now they can't hang with me." That clip alone broke 1 million likes and became the unofficial anthem of the mixtape. The Barbs started a campaign called #DoorDieBarbie, which trended worldwide. Even younger artists had to pay respect. Lil Baby tweeted, "Can't lie, they snapped." Jack Harlow posted, "You can't compete with chemistry like that." And Drake, in true Drake fashion, dropped a mysterious emoji tweet, a skull, a crown, and a flame. The world immediately started overanalyzing it. Of course, by week's end, Do or Die had accomplished what no one thought possible. It united generations. Boomers, millennials, Gen Z, everyone was vibing. Old heads were blasting it in cars. Young fans were remixing it on TikTok. It was like watching history fold in on itself. But every cultural shift comes with consequences. As streams skyrocketed, whispers began about a tour. A Do or Die live reunion tour featuring the entire crew. Fans were losing their minds, already photoshopping fake tour posters. But the rumor mill went into overdrive when 50 posted, "Should we take it worldwide?" with a globe emoji. That was all it took. The internet erupted with theories, dates, and alleged leaked schedules. At this point, hip-hop wasn't just experiencing a comeback, it was witnessing a rebirth. The mixtape reignited something the genre hadn't felt in years: unity through chaos. It reminded everyone that when the real ones come together, it's not competition, it's domination. Yet, even as the world celebrated, there was one thing nobody expected: the mixtape wasn't over. Hidden deep in the track list was a 30-second outro, a cryptic message where Eminem whispered, "Chapter 2's already in motion." That one line triggered a frenzy bigger than the drop itself. Fans started speculating about a sequel, maybe a Do or Die Party I. Was Kendrick joining next? Maybe Jay-Z? Maybe Nas? The theories were endless. Reddit turned into an FBI task force again, decoding every sound, every pause, every breath, and as the hype machine spun out of control, one truth became undeniable: the mixtape hadn't just broken the internet. It had resurrected faith in hip-hop. It proved that bars still matter, beats still matter, and that legends don't fade, they reload. By the time the smoke cleared, the world realized something. Do or Die wasn't a mixtape, it was a cultural reset. What Eminem, 50 Cent, Dre, Snoop, and Nicki Minaj did in one night reshaped not just hip-hop, but the way the industry operates. This wasn't just a reunion, it was a rebellion. The rules were rewritten. The gatekeepers were dethroned, and the message was clear: real music doesn't need permission. The first shockwave hit the charts. Billboard tried to classify the project as non-commercial since it dropped independently. Fans weren't having it. A massive online campaign called #LetItChart flooded every platform, demanding that the mixtape be officially counted. Within days, Billboard caved. Do or Die debuted at #1 as a mixtape. That had never happened before. It was like watching an underdog movie play out in real time. The people won, but while fans celebrated, industry insiders were panicking. Label execs reportedly held emergency meetings, trying to figure out how 5 legends without marketing, radio play, or PR had just outperformed their entire rosters. One leaked email even said, "If Eminem and 50 can do this with nostalgia, imagine what Drake or Travis could do without us." Translation: the power balance had shifted. Artists didn't need the machine anymore, the machine needed them. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the Do or Die team was basking in quiet chaos. Dre was back in his element, cooking beats like he was 30 again. Eminem was writing non-stop, reportedly recording entire verses in one take. 50 was already hinting at turning the mixtape into a documentary. And Nicki? She was plotting the next move, because if anyone knew how to capitalize on a cultural explosion, it was her. Then came the fallout. Within 2 weeks, half the rap game had dropped response tracks. Some were tributes, others were friendly fire. A few, though, were straight-up desperate grabs for attention. One rapper even released a song titled Do or Die Trying, which the internet roasted into oblivion. Another artist dropped a verse claiming real bars don't sell anymore, only to have his own fans reply, then explain Eminem. At this point, the memes had evolved into prophecy. TikTokers were staging rap funerals for lazy lyricists. One clip went viral showing a guy pretending to bury his mumble rap playlist while Do or Die played in the background. The caption read, "When the legends remind you what rap sounds like." It got 15 million views in 2 days. Even politicians got in on the trend. A senator tweeted, "If Congress had the unity of this mixtape, America would be unstoppable." That tweet alone proved one thing: everyone was paying attention. But the mixtape's true power wasn't just in its numbers, it was in its ripple effect. Suddenly, the charts looked different. Authenticity was trending again. Artists who once relied on gimmicks started focusing on lyrics. Beats got dirtier, verses got sharper, and interviews got realer. You could feel the shift, the rawness was back. And it wasn't just rappers. Pop stars, R&B singers, and even indie musicians started quoting bars from the mixtape like scripture. Do or Die wasn't a genre, it was a statement. Either you stand for something, or your music stands for nothing. A month later, Dre confirmed what fans already suspected: there was more coming. He dropped a teaser clip on Instagram. A slow zoom in on a black studio door with the words Chapter 2, Resurrection spray painted in red. In the background, a faint beat played. Fans swore they heard Kendrick Lamar's voice. Twitter erupted. Theories flew faster than bullets in a 50 Cent music video. Was Kendrick joining the sequel? Was Jay-Z executive producing? Was this a setup for the ultimate final chapter tour? The internet couldn't keep still, but while everyone chased rumors, the artists stayed quiet. No announcements, no interviews, just silence, which in hip-hop speaks louder than anything. Eminem's fans started combing through his lyrics again, convinced he'd hidden clues about Chapter 2 in plain sight. One Reddit thread broke down 20 different bars that supposedly predicted another release. The conclusion? M's playing 4D chess and we're all pawns. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continued his masterclass in chaos. He started teasing an Aftermath takeover show on Starz, a semi-fictional, semi-real docudrama about the making of Do or Die. He posted, "Y'all thought Power was crazy? Wait till you see this." Instantly, social media exploded. People didn't even know if he was joking, but knowing 50, it didn't matter. When he teases something, it usually happens. NickiMinaj, on the other hand, took the project and made it fashion. She launched a Do or Die Barbie merch line that sold out in minutes. Hoodies, vinyls, pink cassette tapes, everything. She even wore a Do or Die dress to an award show, cementing her status as both the queen of rap and the queen of branding. SnoopDogg, the man, was unbothered. He posted videos of himself smoking to his own verse, captioned, "Still blazing, still amazing." That's it. The whole post. 2 million likes in a day. Because when you're Snoop, every sentence is a vibe. And then, the ultimate flex happened: the Grammy nominations. Do or Die, despite being technically a mixtape, was nominated for Album of the Year. The Recording Academy tried to play it safe, calling it a cultural contribution, but fans knew better. The Grammys had no choice but to recognize what the streets already decided. This was the biggest thing hip-hop had seen in over a decade. When the show aired, every major artist was in attendance. The crowd erupted when the words "and the Grammy goes to" were followed by Eminem, 50 Cent, DrDre, NickiMinaj, and Snoop Dogg. Do or Die. The camera cut to 50 laughing like a supervillain, M looking shocked but smug, Dre nodding like a proud mentor, Nicki striking her queen pose, and Snoop just vibing with his shades on. It was a full circle moment, the old guard winning again, on their own terms. And as they took the stage, Eminem said something that broke the internet all over again. "This one ain't for the industry. This one's for everyone who said real rap was dead. We didn't come back, we just stopped staying quiet." Mic drop. The next day, hip-hop history had officially been rewritten. The mixtape was no longer just music, it was movement, mythology, and manifesto all in one. Rappers who once mocked lyricism were now quoting Eminem in interviews. Young artists started shouting out 50 as their business role model. Nicki's verse got studied in college classrooms under the topic "Women Redefining Power in Hip-Hop." Even Dre's production got dissected by music professors like it was modern-day Beethoven. In 1 year, Do or Die transformed from a surprise drop to a generational landmark. It proved that you can be legendary and relevant, that you can age in hip-hop without fading, that sometimes the loudest comeback is the one nobody saw coming. And yet, just when fans thought it was over, one final curveball dropped. At the end of an interview celebrating their Grammy win, 50 leaned into the mic with that devilish grin and said, Oh yeah, do or die to drop sooner than you think. Cue pandemonium. The room erupted. The internet combusted. The saga wasn't over, it was just beginning. Because when legends reunite, they don't just make history, they own it. And there it is, the moment the internet still can't stop talking about. Do or Die wasn't just a mixtape. It was a declaration of war, a masterclass in legacy, and a thunderclap reminder that hip-hop's heartbeat still belongs to the legends who built it. Eminem and 50 didn't just drop music, they dropped history. They made every lazy verse, every ghost-written hook, every viral rapper trend feel like background noise compared to real art, real grit, and real bars. So if you felt chills hearing those verses, if your jaw dropped when Dre's drums hit, if Nicki made you scream Queen energy loud enough to wake your neighbors, you already know what to do. Smash that like button like it owes you royalties. Hit subscribe before 50 Cent starts charging for nostalgia. And don't forget to ring that notification bell like it's the intro to another Dre classic. Every drop, every beef, every unreleased collab, we're the first to break it down, dissect it, and deliver it straight to your screen with more attitude than a Nicki Minaj verse and more precision than an Eminem rhyme scheme. This is where legends live and rumors die. Drop a comment below and tell me who had the best verse on Do or Die. Was it M's lyrical execution? 50's ruthless delivery? Nicki's crown-snatching bars? Or Dre's sonic sorcery that tied it all together? I'm reading every single one. And trust me, this debate's gonna be nastier than a versus battle gone wrong.